But it's very hot in Los Angeles. I guess it's hot everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere right now. And that's just like our new reality.
Yeah, but it's extra hot here, and you should feel extra bad for us, I think.
Yeah, because the thing is, to do an elite podcast, you can't have air conditioners humming. You can't have fans blowing. You can't have open windows with car traffic outside.
Mm-hmm.
So we've enclosed ourselves inside of rooms with no ventilation.
That's why I busted out this thing.
Oh, right. Look at you with your fan.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to actually cause a podcast issue or not, so we'll see.
No, I think it's okay. I mean, it's just the little papery rustling. But let's start. What do we start off with? Listener feedback. We have a letter from a listener named Mick.
Mick Jagger?
It's Mick Jagger writing
it.
And Mick says, okay, Brad, I love the Mira and Brad podcast so much. Very happy that y'all are doing it for 2 times a week. I have a topic that maybe you guys can discuss. Juice cleanse, ? I am trying one out because I don't know why. I ordered a box of juice on the internet the other day when I was off work and tired. I am susceptible to things people tell me are good for me too. I feel like you're someone who has done a juice cleanse.
Now, Brad, have you done a juice cleanse?
I have indeed. I did a 10-day juice cleanse.
A 10-day juice cleanse?
Yeah, many years ago.
Well, okay, so tell me about it.
Very hungry but by the way, a juice cleanse. I'm glad the word cleanse is being used as opposed to fast, because juice fast is sort of, I think, a misnomer. If you're fasting, you're just drinking water, in my puritanical view.
Or you're fasting on just juice, right? Hence the word juice.
But you're not really fasting because you're getting nutrients. You're drinking
right.
in.
Right. You're on like a juice diet.
That's it. So I didn't really fast. I thought like, I'll do a juice cleanse. And for the first, I would say 3 days, it was hard.
So what were you drinking? Did you buy like a box of juices?
Yeah, or I would go get new juice when I needed it. Just like that.
Any juice.
Cold pressed, organic. I'm very, particular. But green juices, you just get a variety. And I think like the first 3 days were fairly tough. After that, or no, you know what I did? Here's what I did. I did 3 days of just water fasting. That was hard. And then
that doesn't even seem healthy.
No, it's fasting. I mean, you should consult your doctor.
3 days?
Yeah, people can do water fast for like 40 days.
Well, you can. Like, I mean, I could get my arm bitten off by a shark, but that would be not great.
Here's how I think about it. I think about fasting done if you're a healthy person to begin with, and you're not doing it out of some sort of, psychological instability, but rather in pursuit of health. I think
anyone who does a juice cleanse is doing it out of psychological instability, but go on.
I think that it's like, the way I conceive of it is that it's nice to give your body a break. Think about your digestive system and how you're constantly just shoveling food into your mouth, and your body is constantly working to process this stuff. And not only the food and the nutrients, but also all of the toxins and everything else.
But what does the juice cleanse do for toxins?
Well, it kind of it flushes your system.
Of what toxins?
I don't know. Just whatever needs to get out of your body.
What needs to get out of your body? You're eating like
heavy metals.
What how does the juice get the heavy metals out of your body? This is what I don't understand. Is like, it's the juice cleanse. It might make you feel good because you're eating less and you're lighter. And I get where fasting can make you like feel better physically sometimes, but cleanse? Is it really cleansing anything? I would say scientifically it is not.
I mean, I think it would only be happening if it's just giving your body a break, and so it gets to sort of like burn through whatever's in there without introducing more to the...
A break from food?
Yeah.
It's like saying, like, I'm going to give my body a break from sleeping. Like, I'm going to give my body a break from, like, drinking water. Like...
Not really. I don't think it's exactly apples and apples.
I'm going to give my body a break from, like, sex. Like, why?
I think that fasting has a long history and like all sorts of different human cultures and spiritual traditions. And there is something...
But we're not talking fasting. We're talking a juice cleanse.
Yeah.
That doesn't cleanse.
Yeah. So I don't know. I felt really like the first 3 days of just doing the fasting. It was sort of a combo. were difficult, but I got through them.
Right.
And then I introduced juice on like day 4, and I went to day 10 drinking juice. And that was like much easier because even if you're not eating, you could still be like, okay, it's 6 o'clock, it's dinner time. I'm going to have like 2 bottles of like green juice or whatever. And that was like, psychologically, that was honestly, it made a difference because the biggest like stressor for me as a faster was that you would get to these meal times, you would feel hungry, but you would just be like, what am I supposed to do now with myself? Like, you don't realize how psychologically dependent you are on these meal times. Not physically dependent. I get we need food like physically, but like it was the psychological part. And so the juice sort of replaced it. And I got to say, I felt great. I never stopped anything that I normally did. Like I didn't stop exercising. I didn't stop doing the only thing I didn't do was eat solid food. And
with all due respect, you're my dear friend, but you're a fucking freakish. You're a fucking freak of nature. What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought it was an interesting experiment. I haven't done it since then. This was like 15 years ago. You know, it's not like something, but I do.
So you only did it once and you were like, never again.
I'm getting ready to do, no, I might do it again, but I'm getting ready to do an episode on this show on Otherppl about fasting and creativity. I talked to a guy who wrote a book about fasting. I'm interested in it. So,
well, I can say personally that being hungry does not make me more creative, and in fact makes me less creative and makes me a significantly less good person.
Yeah. I mean, if you do a water fast though, I do think that if you're just fasting, I feel like that does have some sort of purifying effect on like the body and the mind and the soul. Like it's
but
intense.
Is it worth like destroying my entire marriage over? I don't know, because like that is how horrible I will become.
I'll tell you, it is harder when you live in close quarters with others because they're not fasting, so you have to sit there and watch them eat, and then they also have to like deal with you feeling superior for 10 days or whatever.
The one time I tried, I did it for one day, and then I got to like 7 p.m. and I like looked at Tyler and I was like, I am gonna kill myself if I don't eat dinner right now. And he was like, all right, let's eat dinner. That's it.
Well, see, that's like, the thing. It's like, it's not even really the physical part of it that is the hardest. It's the mental part of fasting that is the most challenging because your body, your mind starts talking to you. It's like, I want food. I want food. I want food. This is hell. This is hell. I hate this. I'm hungry. Yeah. Why am I doing this? And
my body says, I need food to survive. Please help me.
Yeah. And so you have to sort of,
yes, no problem, body.
Yeah. You have to withstand that. And it's not easy. And it's like,
kind of not about withstanding survival urges. I'm kind of more about surviving.
So Mick, to answer your question, I think you should try the juice fast as long as you're in good health and, you know, you don't feel like your doctor would be opposed, and listen to your body. Like, you know, if you feel awful, then maybe have some food. But if you feel like some discomfort, you can push through discomfort, you know, and I think like that's really the litmus.
I would say that my advice is don't trust Brad. He's a crazy person. He can withstand things that other people cannot, and he cannot withstand things that other people can. And just generally speaking, in terms of diet and health stuff, he's like a total freak of nature, and I wouldn't compare myself to him ever. So that's my advice, Mick Jagger.
I think it's good to experiment, but I don't think...
With drugs.
With
food, I don't know.
I feel like it's not a panacea, but it might yield some interesting benefits. Possibly. Maybe.
But Brad can't name any of them.
But hey, I don't know how it cleansed me, but it cleansed me. That's the verdict.
Someone at Erewhon did tell him, and we do trust that person.
The juice bar bartender at Erewhon basically
selling you a Hailey Bieber smoothie and was like, it's going to cleanse you.
No, actually it's the Beverly Hills Juice. What is it called? The Beverly Hills Juice.
Oh, that place you love. Yeah.
Club on Beverly. I've taken you there, I think.
Yeah. So many times.
Yeah. And it's, they do the best shakes, like with banana.
It's really good, actually.
Yeah. That place has been there forever. And like that dude was like the first juice bar dude, I want to say in America.
It's like the only like really legit juice bar in Los Angeles, I feel like, or one of very few where I'm like, okay, this place has been around since like the Source family, you know, like they've been doing this shit. Yeah, since like the 70s. Like the guy was like a music industry guy who got burned out on cocaine and was like, okay, I'm just going to devote my life to juice. And like ever since like cult health food shit became a thing, like that place has existed.
Yeah, I used to go there all the time. I used to live over by there, and we was standing in line one morning, and Daniel Craig, James Bond, was right in front of me. He's getting his juice. Like it's a known entity, that place.
Wow.
So anyway,
Daniel Craig.
thank you, Mick. Good luck with your juice fast. Write back and let us know how it goes. We want to hear how you feel after you've done this cleanse.
Yeah, please let us know.
So, Mira, what is in the news?
What is in the news? Well, our first piece of news is a sad one. Our best friend, friend of the podcast, close personal friend, Donald Sutherland, has died at age 88. I don't know how he died. I think he was just old.
Yeah, 88 is a good long run.
It's a good long life. It was announced by his son. Let's see. Do you know what first comes to mind when you think of Donald Sutherland?
Just kind of like a steady presence in the movies, always good, like never problematic on screen. Has
or
like
in real life.
Yeah, or a certain gravitas. I've noticed like the postmortem on social media has been almost uniformly glowing. He was considered to be a good guy. I think he was well liked by his peers and by moviegoers. And then he had, I think, like progressive politics that have been applauded by at least the people in my timeline. But like just like a generally kind, like genial guy and a talented actor, and also like I think a character actor with a like a unique appeal. Like he's not like
He's got an interesting face.
Yeah, the long face and like that kind of, he's got that great voice to go with it, and did a bunch of different kinds of roles. He's not like a traditional leading man. So it seems like cooler to feel like an affinity with him than it is to like feel an affinity with like George Clooney or something, where it's like, okay, this guy's just like life's greatest winner. Like Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland suffered or something. Like,
he's like the alt one. He's like the alt Clooney. Yeah.
And so it's cool to like the alt, but it's like, you know, I don't know.
He's good. I liked I didn't like, but he was very handsome as a young man, and he was in is it Don't Look Now, or is that what it's called, the horror movie?
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. I'm a really big horror fan, and I kind of thought it was like, please nobody kill me for this, but a little boring. But he was super hot in it, and that was fun to watch. And my other Donald Sutherland association is that I used to babysit this kid. It was really cute, but they had this fucking dog. And like, you know when like a dog just has a human face and you're like, why does this dog like look at me with human eyes? And it's so scary. This dog had that, but it was Donald Sutherland. Like this dog was Donald Sutherland, to a point where I texted the mom and I was like, your dog looks like Donald Sutherland. Like, I'm not stoned. I'm like sober, taking care of your child. It looks like Donald Sutherland. She's like, oh my God, I know. It's crazy. He looks so much like Donald Sutherland. Like everybody knew. Like it was shocking.
What kind of dog was it?
It was like a poodle mix. It was like something they got at like the pound, like some kind of, I don't know, small poodle mixture thing. Like
I could see that though, with like the longer.
Yeah, long face and like very human eyes. It was I really couldn't look at that dog. It was kind of scary.
Yeah, I noticed when I was looking at the obituaries and everything, how few movies I've seen. Like this often happens to me, where like I learn about somebody only once they've died, and I'm like, well, I really need to see their films, or I really need to check out their books, or whatever it is. But I haven't seen so many. I mean, Donald Sutherland was in 200 movies, so
yeah, and he didn't always have a big role. You know, like he wasn't always a starring man. I think was kind of one of his main. He was like often a character actor. He was like, you know, the Hunger Game movies or whatever, but in terms of like his role, he was very good in that movie. I think actually he was pretty scary as like the evil dude.
Yeah. No, he's a great actor. So R.I.P. Donald Sutherland. What's next?
What is next? Okay, so the next one I think might be a situation where you're going to have to teach me some things. Bill Belichick, 72, has a 23-year-old girlfriend. And the first time that they met, he autographed her schoolwork. So it's feeling a lot like a Jerry Seinfeld picking up his girlfriend from high school when he's 38 type situation. But who the fuck is Bill Belichick?
He is the former coach of the New England Patriots. So they won, I want to say 6 Super Bowls, something like that. And he was the coach. So he's like a all-time great football coach in the NFL.
He's like a Jerry West in basketball. Is that right?
Well, Jerry West wasn't a coach. He was like a
Oh
general
fuck.
manager.
Okay, never
But
mind.
same sort of thing. Like a great sports winner and a great tactician as a coach and all this stuff. Like a great football mind. But
Right.
now he's 72 and he's dating somebody who's what, almost 50 years younger than he is.
Does he have a kid at all? Like, are his children older than this girl?
Oh my God, yeah. His kids are in their like 40s probably. I mean, yeah, this is it's like I don't want to poo-poo somebody being happy or finding love in this life. Life is hard enough, so there's no rules in love and war, right?
Yeah,
But
but 3 years away from being able to legally drink is like it's kind of pushing it.
right. I'll say this, like Robert Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots. He's a billionaire. His wife, who I think was his beloved wife for like 50 years or something, she died. And then almost, not too long after she died, he started dating some girl in her like 20s or 30s or something. This guy's in his 70s or 80s. He's a white-haired old billionaire. And I was at a party in Los Angeles. It was like for a sports event. And he was there. And I saw him at this, it was like at this after party after an award show. And he's dressed in his like blazer, his like billionaire blazer with his like collared shirt and then his slacks. And then he's got like high top Nikes on, like he's 15 years old. And he's dancing with his girlfriend. Like he's out there trying to be like dancing with his girlfriend who's 27 or whatever. And I was standing there I'm watching this from like 5 feet away. And I'm like, this is so painful.
Like high school prom shit.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah. It's just after a certain point, it's like, my feelings about this are, I'm not going to say mixed because I think it's really fucking weird that this 72-year-old has a 23-year-old girlfriend. However, maybe she's, getting the bag and good for her, I guess. Have fun. But whatever. My feeling is, like, I saw somebody tweeting the other day and, like, nobody agreed with them. So whatever. Filmmaker David Lynch is dating a woman who is like 47 years old, which is younger than some of his kids. He's like a very old man. He's got, I think, like a 52-year-old child. And they were like saying like, oh, like age gap, whatever. And I'm like, fuck, that's so fucking stupid. She is a whole adult. And David Lynch is old, fine. But like, she is 46 years old. She is a whole grown up ass person. If she wants to date David Lynch, like they're probably like at similar like levels of like intelligence. Like they're not like, it's not like he's taking advantage of somebody who just got out of high school or whatever, which is pretty much what Bill Belichick is doing here. Cause a 23-year-old girl is like just out of college. Like that's like young. That's not like a 46-year-old. That's not even like a 35-year-old. Like that's like a 30-year-old I could even almost forgive. Like that's cause then it's like, okay, she's like, her whole brain is developed. Like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I feel like I think maybe we need to redefine what childhood is. When does childhood, I guess it's different for different people. There are some people who are like super mature at 18.
That's the thing. Like, I think about that girl who had sex with David Bowie when I think she was like 16, and people like brought it up a lot as like David Bowie, bad guy, which fair. But like then she came out and she was like, it was totally consensual. I had a great time. David Bowie treated me really well. I was like very grown up at that time in my life and like I wanted it, and like don't call it problematic because it wasn't. And so I'm like, okay, well, I do kind of give that woman like I believe her that like that's what it was. And so I'm not gonna like say that it was worse than it was because it wasn't. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is like, it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but these rules are arbitrary around like suddenly you turn 18 and you're just magically an adult. It's like we had to draw a line somewhere and that's where we drew it. But
yeah, I mean, it's like, the line was drawn so that we could get people into the military, right? Because like if it was drawn actually as like you're an adult at 18, then you would be able to drink at 18 and you'd be able to smoke at 18 and you'd be able to do all these, look at porn at 18, like it would. Right. I mean, you can look at porn at 18, but like you would be able to drink, like it doesn't make sense that drinking is 21 and like fucking being an adult and fucking is 18, like is clearly arbitrary in terms of laws that like don't have anything to do with like sex or sexuality or like keeping kids safe.
Yeah. No, it's there's just something unseemly about a 72-year-old like grandpa dating a 23-year-old girl. I mean,
It's
come on.
weird. I
Yeah.
mean, I watched the Anna Nicole Smith documentary a while ago, and she was not that young, so it's certainly a different thing. But I came away from that documentary actually feeling like this girl had an incredibly difficult life where men mistreated her over and over again, and she was poor and she was struggling. And then she met this old ass man who was funny, had a nice sense of humor. He was charming. He adopted her child. He took care of her. I think they really loved each other. I actually really do. I think that they had like a weird but loving relationship. Like,
that's the thing. Maybe this is it. Maybe that's the case here. Maybe they
yeah, who
actually,
knows?
maybe they vibe and they.
I mean,
just,
23 is really fucking young, but like, you know, if they date for another fucking decade, like prove me wrong.
That's right. That's right. It's like it's hard to.
I draw the line in high school though. Like Jerry Seinfeld is a motherfucker.
Yeah, but different times. I mean, context. It's like doesn't make it right, but it was a different time, I guess. I
mean, not different time for brain development, or like,
yeah,
trauma, but yeah, a different time for social acceptability.
All right. So what's next?
So what is next? Brad put this in the list, and I like how you wrote it. J-Lo alone in Italy photographing her own ass.
Well, that's what the story was. That's what the story was. I'm reading the news and I'm trying to keep up with celebrity news for this show. And it says Jennifer Lopez takes selfie in Italy amid Ben Affleck split rumors. But it
says Jennifer Lopez takes sultry backside selfies on an Italy boat ride amid Ben Affleck split rumors.
Yeah, and there's a photo of her on a boat with an Italian flag in the background.
Taking a photo of her own ass. It's true.
I mean, I feel like she has sort of tried to, because she's known for her butt, right? I mean, that's like a J-Lo signature, and she sort of embraced it, like rather than trying to resist it or be offended about it.
It was like the start of like the big ass being like in, or at least in like again, like, or at least in, I don't know, like maybe among white people, like it, like she like started the Kim Kardashian ass situation.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, she's sort of
not the ass person anymore because Kim overtook her, but like she began the ass situation.
The ass situation.
Because it was like, you had like Paris Hilton, you had like Kate Moss, like that sort of style of girl where it was very, very thin. You didn't have hips really. It was like very square like that. You wear like super low rise jeans and it was like you could see hip bones, like super, super skinny. And then, you get J-Lo and Beyonce kind of coming in and being like, actually, like, having an ass is sexy. And, like, dudes were kind of like, yeah, actually, that is sexy. And, like, then you kind of get, but then, it's never really healthy because then you get the Kim Kardashians where they're like, big ass, yes, but your waist needs to be so tiny that it hurts. Like,
yeah, I've seen pictures of this where it's like, this isn't even human what's going on with her waist versus her butt. It's like,
it's insane. I mean, like, I have to say, maybe the only nice thing that I have to say about Kim Kardashian, and it's like not even really nice, is that unfortunately nobody wears a Mugler corset the way that Kim Kardashian does. Like, she is the only one who is really like keeping his legacy alive by like wearing his corsets to the point where she is like almost breaking ribs, which is how the corsets are meant to be made.
Whose corsets?
Mugler. He's a fashion
what's his name? Muke?
Muegler, I think. Mugler.
Oh, Oh, that's like the one name. It's like the last name. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought his first name was...
I think it's Jerry Mugler.
I don't know anything about this. I feel like it's fine if J-Lo has a big butt and she's photographing it.
Whatever.
I do feel like she and Ben Affleck are probably... Like, I think like she needs to just stop. Hasn't she been married or... She's been married like 5 times. It's like Elizabeth Taylor at this point.
Stop getting married.
Yeah, like it's just not working for you. I feel
the opposite. I feel like once you get to that point where you have so many divorces under your belt, you might as well just keep going. It's like you have like, what, are you going to be somebody who's divorced twice, or do you want to be someone who is divorced like 7 times? Like, what's going to sound better to your grandchildren? Like, I think there's like, you could be divorced once and then have a nice marriage. That makes sense. Divorced 3 times is just kind of like, whatever. Divorced 6 times, impressive, cool, chic, iconic. I think you should keep going.
What is the issue, do you think?
Well, so in a recent interview, Ben Affleck referred to J-Lo as, quote, bananas. Now,
Wait, what was it? Her? She was
no,
bananas
her
or her
fame is
fame?
bananas.
Yeah.
Which, like, he's Ben Affleck, so that's not real. Like, he's as famous as Jennifer Lopez. Like, I don't, like, what, her fame is bananas? Like, you're literally Ben Affleck. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, what I will say is that from a source that I'll keep anonymous, I'm now realizing, although whatever, I know somebody who did a music video for Jennifer Lopez and said that she was like the most difficult person they have ever worked with. Like,
I keep reading.
down.
Yeah, I keep reading stories or
Like,
seeing
because it's one thing, like, this person is like understanding about people who like are needy or who are like so famous that they like have various like things that they need on writers or whatever. She was just mean. She was unkind.
And Ben, I feel like really truly does not like the trappings of fame. There's like these memes where he's just like looking so
Yeah.
like depressed and smoking cigarettes and just having a hard time of it. And it makes him, I got to say, I think it makes him sort of relatable in a way. Like there
Yeah.
was the video of him at that award show where he's sitting next to J-Lo and the camera's on them and they're sort of bickering and he just looks like he just wants to be anywhere else but that fucking award show.
It's really relatable. It really is. Like, you don't see a lot of actors who are willing to like show that on their face. Like, I hate it here. I'm not having a good time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing is though is that I think she quite likes it. I think, or at least like she's more like into it than he is. I think that's probably, that seems to be the source of the tension is that she likes the fame monster and he's like over it and just wants to like make movies.
And you can see like when he had that like relationship with Ana de Armas, like it was not the same, but almost similar, where like that was a time when like we were seeing like the largest concentration of like images of Ben Affleck, like, you know, like spilling his coffee and holding Dunkin' Donuts and just looking like a general like sad sack nightmare person, because paparazzi doesn't really, unless you're like Taylor Swift or something, show up uncalled just anywhere, like in front of your house or whatever, just getting photos of you. Like, that doesn't really happen. The paparazzi gets called. They get called by a celebrity. They'll get called by the celebrity's representation. They'll get called by someone who saw a famous person maybe. But then it's like, if you go and you photograph Ben Affleck outside of his house in a way that makes him angry, he won't give you the paparazzi photos later on that he otherwise would. So paparazzi,
which are what he's just always getting coffee. I feel like that's all he's ever doing is getting.
And then you sell that to TMZ for thousands of dollars. That's what you get to do. He's Ben Affleck. He's famous enough that people want to see that. I mean, we're on the podcast talking about those pictures. They sell.
What I think he needs to do, if indeed this marriage to J-Lo like disintegrates,
which it for sure will.
He needs to take a page from his buddy Matt Damon, and he needs to just meet somebody who's like a civilian, who's not famous. Like, look at Matt; he's happily married. He met, I think, his wife was like a bartender at a bar that he was at, and that's how they met.
It's rare. It's really rare that like a celebrity can meet a normal person and then also get along with a normal person in a way where like they aren't just constantly like, wow, your life is fucking freakish. It's possible, but like it seems really, really hard. And it seems like you would have to put out like a real effort to like go on dates with normal people. And like that kind of thing leads to like, are you going to make your date sign an NDA? Like, what if you bring your date home and then you have sex with her and then like she's like going to TMZ, like, here are some pictures of the inside of Ben Affleck's house. Like,
I thought you were going to say the inside of Ben Affleck. I was like,
or the inside of Ben Affleck. You never know.
I did a cavity search of Ben Affleck, and
you'll never think about what I found. Yeah, you'll never imagine.
Be the most viral TikTok ever.
There's a rubber duck in there. It was bizarre.
He's been gerbling.
He's been gerbling.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish them well. I like to see people in love. You know, I don't like to see people breaking up, and I feel like, you know, you want them happy, but it just feels like I think Jennifer Lopez needs to stop like constantly reaching for more fame and like the trappings of fame. You got it. You did it. You're a gazillionaire. Like, you're
not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough, because she wants the eyes on her. It's not about the money. She wants the people looking. She wants people paying attention to her. Look, I'm Jennifer Lopez. Like, She's like on tours and shit. Like she like wants
She
the
had to cancel.
eyes.
She had to cancel her summer tour because nobody bought tickets.
Because this crazy thing is happening with musicians where they're like, now that the Eras tour happened, they're taking these musicians that like could fill, you know, not a stadium, but like one level below, and then having them do stadium tours. And then nobody is buying $500 tickets to see Jennifer Lopez in a fucking gigantic stadium. Because of course not. Like, obviously. Whereas she could have sold out a show with like much smaller arenas.
This is $500 to go see a concert is obnoxious. The whole thing is out of hand. And by the way, I say this to a woman who spent considerably more than that to go see Taylor Swift play a concert.
I was so afraid you were going to say the actual number. I was like, Brad is outing me right now, but significantly more than 500 is correct.
It's so embarrassing that I'm like going to be sensitive because I don't want to like destroy Mira's credibility with the audience when they learn that she mortgaged her future to go see a concert.
It probably wasn't as much as people are. Well, I don't know. I don't spend money on things, generally speaking, and it was truly an insane moment in my life when I spent this much money on this ticket. Like, I've never spent that much money on, like, shoes or, like, a dress or, like, I mean, I think a computer is, like, the closest that I've ever gotten to spending that much money on literally anything.
And you told me it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was worth every penny.
All right.
All right. Our next story involves another one of my favorite subjects, which is the Real Housewives. And one of my least favorite subjects, which is Jennifer Lawrence.
You don't like her?
I don't like her that much. I don't know. Is that bad of me to say? I'm just like, I feel like her acting is kind of whatever. And like, she's kind of an annoying person. I kind of find her annoying.
I thought she was, when I saw Winter's Bone.
She was great in that.
Yeah. I was like, I remember seeing that film in the theater. I don't, it's been a long time.
She was incredible.
I was like, who is this? She's fabulous. And she's, did a great job. That was a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, really good.
And then
really
I do love Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh my God, I can't stand that movie.
I think it's a great romantic comedy.
I find it so cutesy and so annoying and so like, isn't like mental illness like adorable? Like I just like, it's like, okay, like no.
Right. I don't know.
It's an airplane movie.
I felt like, I guess I got suckered by it. I was like, oh, I'd love to see it. Like I am actually like, I do like good romantic comedies.
Oh, same.
And I'm a sucker for like watching a story about two people who find each other and it works out and they're happy. It's like, okay.
I love a great rom-com. Like I will like it I will cry at the drop of a hat in a rom-com, like easily.
But there's not that many of them.
No, there's not that many good ones. It's true. They're few and far between.
It's hard to do a good romantic comedy.
I actually thought that it wasn't exactly a rom-com, but that comedy that Jennifer Lawrence did recently, it was like a really dumb comedy, No Hard Feelings.
With the younger, like the young, like college boy or whatever.
Yeah, and the idea was like that he like really needed like a girlfriend, like before he went to college and to like lose his virginity, and she needed a car, and they're like, okay, we'll give you a car if you like date our son, basically, or like pretend to date our son. And like obviously they didn't end up actually like dating or whatever, but I mean, there's this scene where and like this kind of actually made me feel better about her than I ever have, where it was a scene of her butt ass naked, fully nude, like fighting young teenage boys. So like totally non-sexual and just being like screaming at the top of her lungs, feral, like sand in her hair. She's on the beach. She's like screaming at them and like running. It was like really genuinely funny. Like, and to like be that funny while butt ass naked on set can't be easy.
Yeah. I mean, it takes courage. Right. And I think that she has like she's a little bit wacky, like comedy chops. So, like she's like maybe trying to, or like I guess directors are trying to get that out of her because she's a total ham. I guess a lot of actors are total hams, but
yeah, she really plays it up though as like I'm not like just like a regular hot girl. I'm like funny. I'm like quirky. And it's like, if you're genuinely just a funny person, then that's fine. And I could totally see where she might be really fun to hang out with. But I guess she just hams it up so much on like interview shows and stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, we get it. Like it's
That's
like,
what, yeah, I think that's the criticism. It's like, it's just
yeah,
too much of like, I'm normal. Like, look at me, I'm
yeah,
normal. It's like, no, you're
right.
not. You're worth like $100 million and you're 24.
Yeah, you've
Whatever.
never been normal. Like, don't pretend like you're just like, I'm just a regular girl. Like, you're not a regular girl. Like, we can all like you, but you're not regular.
No, at least like
But
not anymore. But she is like,
yeah,
she's from Kentucky. She doesn't come from any
I do
like,
appreciate like when people don't come from a really rich background and are still successful. That's
yeah,
nice to hear.
yeah. She's not like,
And
this wasn't handed to her.
right. And she loves the Real Housewives, which I also do. And she's got a lot of correct opinions about the Real Housewives that I've heard her say on Andy Cohen's show and various other places. She's a big Housewives fan. And so she apparently is starring in, or she's like attached to a script for a Real Housewives inspired murder mystery that's going to be produced by A24. Now, to be clear for anyone wondering, there have not been any murders in the Real Housewives universe as far as anyone knows. I'll look into it, but I'm like 99% sure there has not been literal murder.
Not yet.
So not yet. Maybe soon. That would be a really good plot point for like, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 5. Andy, if you're listening, I've got a lot of good ideas.
I was going to say, we had the conversation about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and how there was the woman who went to prison for financial crimes, but there's been no like, but it's I think it's like, as a storytelling decision, it is a natural progression. If we're going to have criminals on the show,
or just like drama, even, it's like the show's like about drama. If you think about like what is the most heightened kind of drama that there can be, it would be like a murder mystery.
Yeah. And they're easy to lampoon too. I mean, like, I'm sure Jennifer Lawrence is going to like be mocking the Real Housewives while but she won't. It'll be like a human portrayal, and it'll be an Oscar thing. Or
nobody watches Real Housewives for a human portrayal. Like, if you're a Real Housewives fan and you're going to go play a Real Housewife, it's camp. It's not like a human portrayal. It's pure camp. It's like not necessarily accurate, but it's like hilarious and it is campy and it is like not being like, feel bad for this lady. Like, it's like, we love this lady because she's insane.
But if it's A24, it feels like it's Oscar bait, right?
Not always. I think it could be like a comedy type of thing, like a half comedy sort of situation. They make some weird movies.
Yeah, they've got like that's their brand, right? We're like weird, artsy, cool.
It might suck really bad, this movie. It depends. It depends, honestly. Like, I think it could be good with Jennifer Lawrence attached, honestly, because you need somebody who is like a Housewives fan to make that actually funny. Like, you need somebody who can like take the most insane aspects of different Housewives personalities and like inject them into characters in a way that like takes, I think, a real knowledge of the Housewives universe. And if they have that, it could be really funny.
She's a good actor too. She can really act, I feel like. And
she knows about Bravo. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll change my mind about her.
I feel like they should hire you as a consultant, Mira.
Look, if anybody related to Real Housewives casting, the Bravo Network, Andy Cohen, wants to hire me to do any job, I will quit this podcast immediately and do that for you. So, it goes Andy Cohen, Brad. Andy, you're first. You're the devil, but like,
no. Andy, Mira and I are a package deal. Mira can be the consultant expert, and I can be the middle-aged man who doesn't know what's going on, but I can help you to understand your project better because I will be able to ask relevant questions that your audience might be asking.
I mean, that is true, but Andy, I do want you to know that I'm vicious and willing to go behind Brad back and betray him in order to get this job. So that is the kind of vicious hunger that I will bring to the Bravo Network.
Jesus, it's consistent. It's consistent with the Bravo brand.
See, I would be a great hire. I mean, I recently orchestrated an entire fantasy league around Vanderpump Rules that was successful enough that I've been asked to orchestrate other fantasy leagues for free by my insane friends who also don't have jobs. So
I was going to say, you didn't invite me to be in this fantasy league.
Well, do you watch any of these shows?
No.
So that's the problem. You got to be there watching the show every week at a certain time, and you got to be in a group chat that's going to be talking about some really niche Bravo issues that you will not understand.
All right. What else we got?
Well, so we're going to talk about some more niche Bravo. No. So our next story is another one of my favorite topics, actually, which is fucked up airplanes doing scary shit. And now I want to be clear, it's not one of my favorite topics because people get injured. I don't want anybody injured or hurt. It's incredibly scary. I would like for Boeing to stop killing whistleblowers and for planes to work well. But the terrifying stories fascinate me. And this is one of them. So a Southwest Airlines flight, too close for comfort over city as the plane drops 500 feet.
Wait, 500 feet in the air at once, or they were 500 feet above the city?
No, the plane dove 500 feet over an Oklahoma neighborhood, which left both like the people in the plane and the residents rattled. So they were like at normal, whatever, however high an airplane is supposed to be, and they dove down until they were 500 feet above a neighborhood.
Was this a Boeing plane?
I assume so. Let's see. It just says the commercial 737 jet. Oh my God, they're not even telling us whether or not.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it says so. It's unclear if this is a Boeing issue or a human error.
This is a Boeing issue for fucking sure. It's like the same way that like anytime a celebrity like loses weight now, we can assume it's Ozempic. Like anytime a plane fucks up now, we can assume it's Boeing.
Like Boeing, like I want to say I read just this morning that the Justice Department is recommending criminal charges against Boeing. And I don't know.
They deserve.
Yeah, what is up with this fucking company? Like the people who are whistleblowing are dying. And then like every week it seems like there's a story of some plane with like a door flying off at 35,000 feet. It's like,
I've read about it a lot and I still don't fully understand it. But part of what the issue is that around COVID, they fired a lot of employees from Boeing. And I'm sure I'm going to butcher this story and correct me if I'm wrong, but don't correct me too much, listeners. Boeing fired a bunch of employees around COVID. They got a bunch of money around COVID also from like the relief, whatever the fuck, but they just used that to give a bunch of money to their CEOs. And then they fired a bunch of people who were like much older Boeing employees, many of whom are some of the only people who understand how the true like inside mechanics of these planes work. So when you train pilots, it's kind of like training somebody to like use a MacBook, for example. Like you and I understand how to click the buttons on a MacBook to make it do certain things, maybe even complicated things. But we don't know how the coding works. We don't know how the programs are made. We don't know how to fix a MacBook if it is broken, right? Apparently that's similar to how pilots are trained with Boeing airplanes, but a much more complicated version, obviously, where they know how to pilot the plane. But if something goes wrong with the like internal mechanisms of the plane, they haven't actually been trained in that, because the only people who really understand that are the people who like built the planes, and those people are all fired. So the planes are fucking falling apart.
Yeah, there's gotta be an intervention. Like this is enough's enough. There's people's lives at stake.
Dude, fucking it needs to like not be a privately owned like company or industry anymore. Like it just can't be. Otherwise there's not oversight. Like we need like significant oversight over this shit. Like,
and why do these people why do these whistleblowers keep dying? Are they being murdered by Boeing?
I mean, the sentence, why do these whistleblowers keep dying, I think maybe answers your question.
And they're not like old whistleblowers. I mean, they're not like 20s. They're not in their 20s, but they're like, relatively young people, 50s,
One of them
40s.
was in like their 30s, like young people.
How did they die?
Suicide, mysterious circumstances.
Fucking A.
A strange heart attack after not having any heart problems. Like they're being murdered by Boeing, allegedly.
This feels like a future Matt Damon movie or like a Michael Mann movie.
They'll do like very poorly, and they'll be like, the Boeing executives are complicated people, okay?
It'll be like, George Clooney. It'll be like handheld cameras and like a gritty return to the golden age of cinema in the 70s. The kind of movies they don't make anymore.
Oh, God. And it'll suck so hard, and they'll spend like $2 billion on it.
What will it be called? It'll be called like Turbulence. I don't know.
Turbulence.
God, it's not going to be called Boeing. And like George Clooney already did a movie called Up in the Air.
Yeah, so it'll be like a one word or like a airplane related. Like it'll be called like like plane down or some shit like that. Like it'll be called something really dumb.
Yeah.
It'll become like maybe, I mean, in an ideal world, maybe they'll make it into like a really like bad action, like a Mission Impossible style action movie with just like the most impossible stunts saving people from Boeing planes that are falling apart midair and shit.
It feels like a docuseries too. It feels like some sort of like Netflix docuseries, like investigative journalism.
It's definitely going to be that.
All right. Well, the thing too is that it's hard to avoid flying on a Boeing plane. I guess you can look and see if it's what is it? What are your other options? It's like an Airbus,
I guess, but like literally you can't. Sorry, a cop just came coming by with the sirens. You literally can't buy a ticket and choose a non-Boeing plane because they'll change it last minute. Like you can't choose what plane you go on. You can only choose like what airline you go on, and they'll use Boeing planes like sometimes at random. If your plane is like being refueled or whatever, it's a Boeing plane. There's kind of no way to avoid it.
Yeah, this shit needs to be regulated. That's it.
Yeah, that or I'm never flying again, I guess. I don't know.
So what is up next? What do we got?
So the next one is one that I don't think I fully understand, which is that climate protesters painted Stonehenge with orange corn flour. Now, climate protesters I'm in favor of. Protesting I'm in favor of. Climate protesting I'm in favor of. Slash those paintings or whatever. Like, that was cool. But why Stonehenge?
I mean, it's the same thing as what they go to these museums and they spray paint like Van Gogh, right?
But the museums make a little bit more sense because the owners are generally like using money from places that are destroying the world to fund the museums. So that I'm like, okay, I can understand that a little bit more. But Stonehenge?
Yeah, it's just like I didn't even know. How did Stonehenge even happen? These are like prehistoric humanoids.
Well, I think that's the whole thing with Stonehenge is that like nobody understands how they got the rocks up there. And so it's like this crazy, mysterious.
But it was like prehistory humans who did this, right? Or like long time ago.
Long time ago. Really,
it wasn't like blue-blooded like art collectors who made Stonehenge.
Certainly not. No, it was not like the people who like run the Met or anything like that.
So the verdict is like, go ahead and destroy priceless works of art.
Well, so the other thing is that they aren't destroying any priceless works of art, because even when they throw paint on the Van Gogh has like a layer of glass like this thick over it to make sure that it'll never get damaged by anything. So they just replace the glass and the painting's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, those paintings are undamaged. They're totally okay.
Oh, I thought they were like on the canvas with like yellow paint or whatever.
No, not at all. They like do it as like a, protest, but like the paintings are covered. Yeah, it's a stunt. Which like fine, stunts are useful or whatever. And like here it seems like they used corn flour specifically, which I'm seeing there is like a powder that they're just kind of like spraying all over Stonehenge. Like if you were to like just, I don't know, wave a bag of flour over Stonehenge, but it's orange. And so
you can clean it off.
Yeah. Like I think it's like not permanent. Like I don't think it's like actually going to damage Stonehenge. So like, yeah, I don't really understand this one. I got to be honest.
It's about like, look, we live in an attention economy. You're trying to bring attention to the perils of climate change, which is like a global emergency that everybody's sort of sleepwalking through, or too many like important people are sleepwalking through. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I mean, at the same time, I think a lot of people get pissed off at the protesters. I wonder if it does more harm.
That's the point of protesters, right? It's like people get pissed at you and it causes a thing.
Yeah, but it's like I guess it comes down to numbers, right? Are more people pissed off by it and find this obnoxious behavior than there are people who say, hey, we should do something about the climate and, the carbon in the atmosphere or whatever. Like it's, I feel like a lot of people find it like sort of annoying.
Yeah, but, it's easy, I guess, for me to say that, like sitting here on my bed and boiling to death in my room instead of doing anything.
We're suffering from climate change right now, both of us.
That's right. We're bearing witness to climate change as we speak.
We're not sending carbon into the atmosphere to make this show, or as little as possible. We turn off our fans and our air conditioners just to make sure that we have the lowest.
Wi-Fi probably does something, but I'm not really sure what.
Yeah. Well, you know,
That'd be great.
we have to do something. But I hope Stonehenge is okay. I like Stonehenge, like as a general thing. I'm glad it's there.
Like you like it as like aesthetically, like
Yeah, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I'm glad Stonehenge is a thing. I want to go. I want to go to Stonehenge someday. It feels cool. I'm like,
what's like another thing that you feel that way about?
oh, I mean, like anything in the world that's like man-made, but is like sort of closer to nature and like really historical, like old, like like those like churches and monasteries that are carved into the mountainsides. Or what's the one in Jordan? It was in like in an Indiana Jones film, but it's like those beautiful old like pillars that are carved into the side of the mountain. Like that.
Oh
shit,
yeah,
that's worth saving. I feel like it's like worth like visiting and like
totally
as like a relic. So. And it's got
Stonehenge
some sort
is kind of spooky too. I like that. Like, how did they get the stones up there? It's kind of weird.
Like Easter Island, like those big, that sort of
Pyramids.
stuff. I think we got to keep that stuff. We don't want to like ruin it. But
yeah, no, true. That's true.
All right.
I did like the Spinal Tap Stonehenge the most. That was my favorite. The little 3-inch Stonehenge in Spinal Tap came down.
I've never seen Spinal Tap.
You've never seen Spinal Tap?
I have so many gaps in my cultural. This is what
I
this
thought
show's
you were
all
a Gen Xer. What the fuck?
I just never got around to it.
Like, we were talking about like quintessentially Gen X movies, and that's one of them.
I feel like it's a big one. I mean, maybe a little bit. Maybe it might be a little bit more boomery because it's a Rob Reiner. Was it late 70s?
No, later.
Oh, was
Yeah, it was like. I mean, it took place in the late 70s, but I think it was like the 80s.
All right, I'd have to look at it. I got it. It's on my list of things to do.
Oh my god, you with Stonehenge and turn it up to you while you're editing this episode. Like, at least watch it on mute because it is like one of the funniest movies ever made. I think.
Okay. I mean, I've heard good things.
I mean, of course you have. It's Spinal Tap. I mean, this is Spinal Tap.
I feel like maybe that was one of the earliest like mockumentaries, right? It was like
true.
Like making that form, like where it's like a spoof documentary.
Yeah, like was there there were mockumentaries before that, but like not as popular. Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I feel like it was the who's the guy who does like Best in Show?
Yeah,
Christopher Guest.
Yeah, Christopher Guest.
Like those came after Spinal Tap. I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely. This came after Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap was kind of one of the first of the category.
All right. Well, what else we got today?
So we have one last story. Speaking of climate change and it being too hot, that was a good transition that I did there. Wow, this is a totally insane headline. So Bianca Censori is Kanye West's, I guess, wife.
I don't know. I can't.
They're like married, but I don't know if it's legal. I actually also can't keep up. But
who is Bianca Censori? I don't even know who she is.
She's like a model. She was like a supermodel before she like was married to Kanye West, and now she's just like someone who Kanye West dresses up like a Barbie, like all of his other girlfriends.
And he looks like they're at this fashion show. She looks like she's in a one-piece, like kind of like beige bathing suit, and he is in like a beekeeper's outfit.
Yeah, so she's in like a one-piece sort of unitard bathing suit that has a high neckline but has a totally open back and then like a thong in her ass. So like you see her entire ass. It's also see-through, so you can see her nipple. She's essentially nude, which is something that like she's been doing for a long time. Like Kim dresses the way that she does largely because Kanye created that style for her, and now he's gone insane with this new girl and created a style that's basically like public humiliation. Like he literally had her go out during Fashion Week one year and maybe it wasn't Fashion Week, I don't know, but he had her go outside in front of paparazzi in an outfit that consisted of her holding a pillow against her chest, like just holding a pillow to cover herself.
I don't get it.
Insane. Nobody gets it.
What is up with him? Like he's
crazy
lost his mind.
Anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Like he is an anti-Semite who stopped taking his drugs. Although, God, he can be so fucking funny sometimes. Have you seen that clip of him where he's like, I went to the doctor and this doctor told me, you haven't slept enough. And I'm not going to say what kind of doctor it was. I'm not going to say what race the doctor was. It was a Jewish doctor. Like literally like that.
Yeah, he's like so unhinged that it's like actually like amusing, even though it's abhorrent. You know, it's
It's
like,
yeah, like his
but
comedic timing is good, even though he's completely lost his mind.
yeah, he feel like he's just like publicly insane, and yet like
Yeah.
he's. I got to say too, I don't like fashion shows. I don't like this thing where like the celebrities sit in the front row and watch these like emaciated supermodels like march down the. I don't like the whole scene. The whole scene creeps me out. I don't get why they go. They go to just be photographed, to being there and like being elite.
Well, I mean, like, I would say that fashion, especially the kind of fashion that's like runway fashion, like is art. Like there are like you go to like a McQueen show and like those dresses are they're just art. They're like the most beautiful art, some of the most beautiful art being made right now. And so I can totally understand where I would want to go to one of those fashion shows just to be able to see the dresses in real life. But I don't think that that's really why these celebrities are going necessarily, because they can see these dresses in real life through their stylists.
But like, does anybody wear this shit? It's just
Yeah.
on the
The red
runway.
carpet. Yeah.
To the red carpet and the runway, but it's not like for normies. Like normies can't wear this stuff.
That's why it's art. That's why like you have like people say ready to wear versus runway. Like runway
okay.
is like you're not really supposed to wear it unless you're like, you know, on the red carpet or something. It's like an insane piece of art. It's like the fashion designer just kind of going as crazy as they want to with their vision. And like ready to wear would be something that you could actually purchase and like wear in a normal way. Even if it's an insane garment, you could like purchase it versus like runway fashion. You actually can't even buy it.
So if there's any elite fashion designers listening, I think you should invite Mira and me to sit in the front row. I want to sit in the front row and watch this, see if I learn anything.
I would sit in the back row. You can invite me and I'll sit in the back row.
No, I want front
Brad
row.
needs front. I'll take back row.
I just hate the whole scene. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but it's like the pictures of the celebrities sitting there, like you don't know what the fuck you're looking at. And these dresses a lot of times are so ugly and weird. And it's like, what are we doing? It's like the emperor's not wearing any clothes and we're all pretending that he's, I don't know.
I mean, the fashion industry is like profoundly toxic and really awful in a lot of ways. Yet I come from a long line of stylish women who are also seamstresses, and I cannot help but love looking at dresses. I just do. I watch the red carpet for every award show. Like
Women,
I will.
My wife loves the red carpet part of.
Love it. Oh my god, and like my mom and I will text each other, and we'll be like, "Oh, she looks great," or be like, "Oh, that outfit is terrible. Oh my god, what is that cut? Like, why would she wear like a drop waist dress? What the fuck is wrong with like just like we will go." Hard. Like I miss Joan Rivers, truly. Like I wish she was still on the red carpet. Like that is the energy we need to be bringing to the red carpet, is like people need to be more ruthless. Like I'm seeing someone dressed in like the ugliest outfit I've ever seen, and the presenter is like, iconic, you look fabulous, and it's like, no bitch, she looks like a fucking weird, like I don't know, sock. Like it's not good.
But you have to have a comedian. Probably.
Yeah.
Or
and like a mean one.
Yeah. I mean, late stage Joan Rivers. She was
late stage Joan Rivers.
But that was her career, right? Her career was like basically being like the fashion police or whatever.
Yeah.
It was and like I gotta say, older people, maybe old ladies in particular, can get away with that kind of blunt talk more easily than like a younger person can. If a younger person does it, it's just, oh, you're just being cruel.
Yeah.
But if it's an old lady doing it,
because she's been through it. She's been through being overly sexualized and having to have this fashion be like very specific in this particular way. It's like almost like she's earned it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. So I got to say, though, if I'm watching an award show and I'm looking at the dresses, I mean, you can't not look at the dresses, right? I feel like I have a pretty good, like a sound, like, what's the word for it? I feel like I'm a good evaluator of when a dress is working. Maybe it's just obvious.
You understand a silhouette.
Or just like, it's pretty obvious when a dress looks good and when it doesn't. It seems like to me.
Yes, I would say that it's pretty obvious when like a cut looks good on somebody. You can tell that it's flattering. The color works with them. Like it's a pretty dress. Like that totally, yes. But I think there's also some outfits like that maybe like a Rihanna would wear that are like not necessarily like attractive in the traditional sense, but they're weird and interesting. And like, I love that shit. But I think a lot of like men or people who don't pay attention to fashion will kind of be like, that's too insane. Like, what the fuck are they doing? That said, some men do have a fashion sense. It's rare. And I'm talking about straight men. Gay men are not, they understand what's going on. But straight men like you sometimes have a fashion sense and can kind of understand what's going on. And other times they're like not on the ball.
I need help personally. Like, I wish I had like a stylist who could just come to my house and be like,
Jesus, me too.
Like, yeah, here's some clothes. This will look good on you. Like, I would love that because it's stressful to me. Like, I just wear.
I would love it.
Yeah, it's like otherwise it's like, and I think it's good to keep it simple, to be honest. Like, you don't need a bajillion outfits. Like, you just need
I disagree, but
but I mean, you need like stuff that looks good on you, and then you just create a little cycle or whatever of outfits. But I think that I guess it's fine. It's its own art form. I'm down with that. I don't get Kanye West at all. I don't find it.
West.
I mean, some of the music, I guess, is like, there's a couple songs I've heard of his where I'm like, okay, this is like catchy and fun, but
off that one album, and then it was just straight downhill from there.
I find him like to be just like sort of like intolerably annoying.
He hates Jews. He like really hates Jews. And like the thing about him is, based on insider information that I have that I know is true, he's been an anti-Semite for a really long time. It's just
why is this a Christian? He's like a hyper Christian guy, or
I guess I don't know. It's like he just really likes Hitler or something like that. Like I like
so he's mentally ill.
Yeah, deeply, profoundly. He's mentally ill and a racist, like, and an anti-Semite.
And also like insanely wealthy and elevate, and the culture has elevated him into this station, and like we can't get rid of him now. It's he's gonna keep, and like who's inviting him to sit there in his fucking beekeeper outfit at the fashion show?
I mean, like, other anti-Semites, I don't fucking know. Like Anna Wintour, like
yeah, get a grip. He should be banned from polite society until he gets his head straight. But all right, Mira. So where are we at now?
Ooh, so now we're at my favorite new segment. The first time we're doing this new segment, and this segment is called Brad Learns. Now,
wow, we have music,
and we have music. Now, Brad did record and sing this song. He did learn how to do the German accent. And
I was in the studio with Kanye. Kanye produced this track with me.
Yeah, Kanye learned how to do krautrock kind of thing. So, they have been working together. Brad is an anti-Semite now, so that worked out okay.
So the Germanic, what is it? Krautrock? Is that what you called it? Or electronic?
Krautrock. Yeah, or like it's like electronic krautrock, Kraftwerk. That's what I would say.
It's actually an AI generated song, which is terrifying. It's the first time I've ever done anything with AI, and I made this song in literally 15 seconds, and it's shockingly good. Considering, I mean, I just punched in some text and they gave me this. But.
Yeah, pretty incredible. It really opens up a whole new world for us in terms of like Kraftwerk style intro theme music to various elements of the podcast.
So this is called Brad Learns, and I've been learning in every segment, but these are specific questions I have that Mira is going to answer for me.
Yeah, so a lot of Brad and I's texting consists of getting a text from Brad in the middle of the day out of nowhere, no warning, saying, who is blank? What is blank? I don't understand blank. So now when he's done this, I say, okay, write it down. We're going to add it to a segment called Brad Learns. And so I'm going to teach him about things that he doesn't understand. And so I get a text the other day from Brad that said, who is Chapel Roan? And so I'm going to try to explain it to you now.
I have no idea who Chapel Roan is at all.
So she is a musical artist. She has recently blown up. I believe because of mainly a song that she wrote called Hot to Go that has a YMCA style dance to it where you go, wait, I know it. You go, HOTTOGO. You can take me hot to go. It's like a dance that all of the kids do. Oh, and she's kind of like imagine, and I think she's better than this, but like imagine like Lady Gaga before she was really famous, but when she had like a cult following of like gays who really loved her. So like before you knew who she was, but like when like the gay man my age would know who she was, or like when she would maybe play We Hope Pride or something like that, right? Like that level of fame is where she's at now. And it's similar also because she came up in drag clubs. Like, she essentially like is somebody who played drag clubs, who is like very inspired by drag culture, and that is
but is a female, like is not
is
a
a female.
drag.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, she's a girl, and but like, you know, she had a show recently. She does this thing for her shows also, where she'll have a theme for the show where she like encourages the audience to dress in that theme. So like, one theme that she had, I think, was like pink cowboy, and so everyone like would wear like pink cowboy hats and like whatever the fuck, and like she'll dress up like that also. And she had one recently that was Divine. Do you know who Divine is?
No, but it's like it rings a bell.
So Divine is the drag queen that starred in a lot of John Waters movies, and who famously ate real dog shit directly out of a dog's butt in Pink Flamingos, the movie. So she was an icon. Divine was just so iconic. And so
for eating dog shit out of a dog's butt.
Yeah, like if you like camp, like Divine is camp. Like that, you don't have camp without Divine and without John Waters, and like you almost don't have John Waters without Divine. Like they're like they created together. Like they
eating dog shit. Eating dog shit is not camp, is it?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay.
Like making a movie.
I don't even know what camp is.
I mean, maybe that should be the next Brad Learn segment. Is I could read you like Notes on Camp by Susan Sontag, and we could figure it out together.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it seems like a very like a loosely defined term, you know.
Well, it's I wouldn't say it's loosely defined as much as it's hard to define and often wrongly defined. I would say. I read Notes on Camp by Susan Sontag. We should talk about it next time.
Our listeners are like, this is a lower brow show than the literary offerings I think that I've preceded the show with.
Notes on Camp, that's gay culture. That's a core element of gay culture and of understanding Divine and Chappell Roan and even Lady Gaga. All of these people come out of camp culture.
Right.
And that all originates with this one essay by Susan Sontag. Or I mean, but it's all described by this one essay by Susan Sontag. I hope it is by Susan Sontag, or I'm going to sound really fucking stupid.
I think it is. I think it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. Chappell Roan is interesting in that she's one of very few people who truly is not an industry plant. So, like, you see so many people who come up. You have, like, the Olivia Rodrigos, who I really like Olivia Rodrigo. I think her music is good.
That's my daughter's favorite.
Yeah. See, there you go. She's I've got very Gen Z, you know, taste in pop culture, so I'm very young at heart. It's yeah, like Olivia Rodrigo is great, but also she was a Disney star before she was a musician, and so she's clearly like the industry propped her up and turned her into what she is, and like she created a image for herself that's much more interesting than I think a lot of industry plants, and like it's made her more successful. Chappell Roan is interesting because she literally grew up in a trailer park, like as poor as a person can possibly get. She's from the Midwest. She truly didn't have like anything propping her up. Like she was like the opposite of an industry plant. But then she had this song, Hot to Go, and she had a music video for it, which you can watch. Like it's like a zero budget music video. It's her like and her friends, you know, dancing around the Midwest, and it's like, you know, she's done her own makeup and shit. And that song blew up on YouTube, blew up on Spotify to the point where like it was impossible to ignore basically the amount of listens that she was getting and the amount of attention that she was getting. She went viral, so to speak, online. And
is that how, because you know a lot about her. I didn't realize you were this well versed. Is that how you found out?
I mean, I don't know that much about her, honestly, but like I just found out about her like via the internet and people posting about her and like other artists liking her, and like she's just all over the place now. Like, it's like hard to escape her. It's like how Billie Eilish was in the beginning. Like the same thing happened with her, where like she really wasn't an industry plant either. She was like somebody who made music with her brother, and one of her songs got incredibly popular on YouTube and Spotify, and then big record labels couldn't ignore her anymore. Basically, they were like, okay, she makes us money. Let's help her. And that's what is happening with Chappell Roan. Very different kind of music, very different kind of style. But, you know, I think that like, I mean, I don't want to compare her to Lady Gaga because I actually think she's cooler than Lady Gaga. Like, I don't.
Bold.
Lady Gaga is like a storied, like, long time pop star. So like, I'm not going to be like she's better than Lady Gaga because like we don't know that yet.
I think Lady Gaga is enormously gifted.
I totally agree. I think she's got like some of the best pop songs that exist. Like, I think that. Okay, have you seen the Lady Gaga documentary on Netflix though?
I have not.
It is. That woman is out of her fucking mind. She is a crazy person, and like. There's one scene that like haunts me to this day where like she's like talking to her like or group, her management, whatever the fuck, her employees, and like they're telling her something that she kind of disagrees with or she kind of doesn't like, and she's like, all right, just hold on a second, and just takes her top off, takes her whole titties out, and she's like, okay, now I'm more comfortable, now we can talk about it. Like, and I was like, what the fuck is good? Like, it was like the craziest power move I've ever seen in my life, where she's just like, okay, I'm going to take my tits out. Now let's
why? Why? Just to show her tits?
I think just to intimidate people, to show her. I mean, she was like, it's just more comfortable. She was like in her house hanging out, you know, and she was like, I'm just going to get comfortable. But like, it was clearly like an intimidation tactic, a way to be like, okay, well, now my tits are out. Now I'm a vulnerable tits out woman, and you have to listen to what I'm saying. Like
that reminds me of these stories about Lyndon Johnson and how he would.
Did you read that book?
What's that?
The book about Lyndon. Is it Lyndon Johnson?
Oh, the Robert Caro. It's like a series of books. No, but he used to, I think I'm maybe quoting from it or whatever. I think this is where the stories originated. But he used to have meetings with people. Like one-on-one meetings, and he just like go into the bathroom, and take a dump while he's talking to the person. Like make them come in and like stand there, and just like completely humiliate them. While he just like act like nothing's strange about it at all.
And it's like something about like that willingness to do something that you would generally think of as like humiliating yourself. Like, okay, I'm like shitting in front of everyone. That's humiliating. It's like because he's not humiliated by it, everyone else has to like take on the humiliation, and it becomes this weird power move where like suddenly everyone has to listen to him and he's the one in charge because like he's completely unaffected by the situation. Everybody else has to be embarrassed like quietly.
But listen, I pray that if I'm ever in a situation like that, I don't care if it's the president of the United States or it's Lady Gaga, that I would have the presence of mind to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, but it's hard, I guess.
And you could have the presence of mind, but not the bravery to say it out loud, you know?
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I hope I would have the courage to just be like, dude, you're fucking nuts. I'm out of here.
What the fuck is this? Like, you know, but if you're like, oh, I need to have like a career in politics and I'll do anything it takes to get there, you're going to watch LBJ shit.
Dude. Good Lord. All right. On that note, Mira, I think it's time for, or no, do we have anything else? What else do we have?
We have one more Brad Learns, which is kind of like it's a topic that I guess is topical, but also kind of happened already, which is the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Brad Learns. We're going to teach you, Brad, as best we can.
Make me understand this.
I can't tell you that I actually understand how it originated, how this beef started. Because I don't. I have no fucking idea. But for some reason, Kendrick and Drake really fucking hate each other. And there's like a big time fight happening there. They've got a big problem with each other. And it started with Drake releasing a track where it was like a diss track about Kendrick. And it was like pretty... Like, it was mean, but it was like pretty, I don't know, not that bad. He was like, you're short, you're a bad rapper. Like, no one likes you. Like, fuck you. You know, like that kind of thing. And then Kendrick comes back with like the most intense diss track you've ever heard in your life, where like Drake was basically like, you're short, fuck you. And then Kendrick came back and was like, I wrote a letter to your mother about how you're a pedophile. And everyone's like, whoa, okay, hold on. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then
gloves are off.
Just like, so he like, it was like Drake like kind of like gave him a little slap on the face, and Kendrick was like, okay, 1 second, and just pulled out a gun and shot him. Like, it was like so over the top. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you? And then he released like consecutively more and more diss tracks where he just like had more and more credible accusations of pedophilia against Drake and his whole crew.
I mean, is Drake a pedophile?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's like a full-blown, he might be a full-blown sex pest, I don't know, but he certainly has some things for young girls that are fucking weird. Yeah, I would say like he probably
like
is. Yeah.
underage girls, or is he just like into like?
He was texting this actress Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things when she was 13 or 14 years old, giving her advice about boys.
Okay, that's weird.
It's fucking weird, right? That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I don't know. And there's just been like other stories, and he's brought really young girls on stage and shit. And it's like, and then Kendrick having all of this seemingly kind of credible but circumstantial evidence against him, I'm inclined to believe, yeah, he's probably a pedophile.
So did Drake? I mean, Drake did the initial diss track, but then Kendrick basically like unleashes like
hell on Drake, just unleashes everything on
hellfire.
Drake. Just hellfire, and like beyond even just in his songs, like he writes in his songs like, "You're a pedophile. Everyone knows you're a pedophile. Here's me talking directly to your mother in this song about how you're a pedophile. Like, I'm sorry that your son turned out so fucked up. You seem like a nice mom." Talking to Drake's... Oh, and then he reveals that Drake has a secret child that he has not told anybody about. Which is true. And is the second secret child that Drake has had in his career. And so...
But not so secret anymore.
Well, I mean, now it's out. Now everybody knows.
Why is he keeping it a secret? Just because he was born out of wedlock, or...
Yeah, probably, you know, I mean, I don't know, like, just because he's like, I had another kid with a porn star and I don't want people to know. I mean, I have no fucking idea.
What are these guys doing? Like, just wear a condom, for God's sakes.
Well,
having babies with people you barely know. I mean, just like, it's not, we have the technology for this.
There's a famous rumor about Drake that I only know about because my nail lady told me about it. I don't know if it's real, but it's a very common rumor that a woman had sex with Drake with a condom on, went into the bathroom, tried to put the semen into herself from the condom again, and realized that the condom was full of hot sauce, and was like, oh, Drake is coming into condoms and then putting hot sauce in the condom so that if somebody were to try to take the sperm and put it back into themselves, they couldn't, and their vagina would be spicy.
I can't believe this is actual.
Like, it's psychotic.
He's got like a bottle of Tabasco just like on the nightstand.
I mean, that's what I'm like. Is it just like he's just got that in the like bedside drawer? Like, I don't.
And
what kind of hot sauce was it?
The hot sauce?
It was red.
Does the hot sauce neutralize the sperm?
I have no fucking. I don't know.
We need to get a doctor on the line to confirm this. This is fucking.
It's fucking insane.
Why people? This is the thing. Kanye West. Drake. I don't know how insane Kendrick Lamar is, but like there is something juvenile, just inherently juvenile about grown men writing mean songs about one another.
Oh yeah.
And like having a little like playground spat, and they're in their 30s or 40s. I mean, it's just like, where are we?
Yeah. And it's like either it's going to be like a Tupac situation where you're literally killing each other, or it's embarrassing and that's it. Or both, you know, like, and neither is good, like at all.
It's just silly. But I mean, and like the Tabasco, but like the larger point is that either fame and celebrity in the music business inherently attract crazy people, and that's how it happens, or the whole process makes people who would otherwise be sane into crazy people, because this is not healthy mental health. Yeah.
You know, I think it's like people who become really successful in that field have to be a little bit insane, because like it's just an insane thing to be famous like that, but also being famous makes you more insane, and so it's just this like cycle of you have an already crazy person who's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Jesus Christ. All right, well, hopefully they sort it out. There's no gunfights. Yeah, they're not going to sort it out.
Drake needs to what do you call it when a man gets fixed? What do you call that? Surgery.
When a man gets fixed? Oh, yeah. He needs to get his tubes tied.
Yeah, he needs to get his tube. That's not what it's called. What do you call it?
He needs to fucking get it snipped. He needs to get a snip.
That's it. I can't remember. I'm blanking on everything, but
it's like the man version of tubes tied. That's
right. My God, look it up. What is it? What do we call it when a man can no longer?
What do I look it up? What do you call it when?
What do we Google?
Human man gets
surgery, no more pregnancy.
a vasectomy.
A vasectomy, for God's sakes.
Man surgery, no more pregnancy.
That's right.
I think that would have worked.
Vasectomy. He needs to get a vasectomy. Let's get Drake a vasectomy. And
what I literally Googled, just this might be a good way to end the show, is when a human man gets his penis fixed.
There we go. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will depart this episode of Brad and Mira for the Culture. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Is that your dog?
Yeah, can you hear them? That's both dogs.
All right. Well, they say goodbye too.